All right, now it's not going to last more than maybe today and tomorrow. It's going to probably be nicer tomorrow. What do you think?
Much nicer tomorrow in terms of no wild storm, but we may have more showers. We won't need them later tomorrow and tomorrow night. The worst of the winds the next 1 to 3 hours, and it's going to get much worse here in Boston. Downtown, perhaps some windows blown out, that kind of a thing. Winds gusting 90.
All right, kids, I'm Paul Wagner. This is Ron Harris, meteorologist for News at 10. And please stay in your houses, and we'll see you soon.
Guess who's turning 30-something?
How do I look?
Fred, have you flipped?
The Flintstones have finally hit the big 3-0. So grab your swim trunks, grab the family, and tune in to the wildest party this side of Bedrock.
Happy birthday, Freddy boy!
Join Hanna-Barbera for the Flintstones' 30th birthday party, a year-long celebration that will make birthday history.
Today at 3 on the WLVI Kids Club.
And now,
5 miles per hour, so it continues to move very, very quickly. Within the past hour, Buzzards Bay Seaman Station reported sustained winds of 77 miles per hour with gusts to 89. So that's sustained of hurricane force with gusts to 89 miles per hour. And the lowest pressure is still 29.38 inches, which is pretty low. And that's basically what's going on. As much as 5 to 8 inches of rain could be the total just to the west of the track. And again, the storm is right over here now, and it's going to move up just about like that over the next 3 or 4 hours. And here are a few reports just coming in. We can talk about some of the winds. Boston with a thunderstorm and winds gusting to just about 50 miles per hour now. South Weymouth gusts over 40. Providence reporting a peak wind gust of about 63 miles per hour in the last hour. Hartford, Connecticut's wind gusts over 50 miles per hour. Same thing for Bridgeport, Connecticut, and on it goes. And we're going to go back to RD and Edie, but we'll have to Vicki. I'm sorry, we're going to go to Vicki Block now. Vicki, I believe, is someone you're born, and let's get the latest from you, Vicki. You're right where it's all happening. Tell us the story.
We are where the action is. We're about 100 feet above sea level, and it's exactly where you want to be when this type of a storm hits, because Buzzards Bay is going to be buzzing. They're expecting surges and high tides of anywhere from 15 to 20 feet. And at this point, they've tried to evacuate the entire area. Of course, they're having a problem because a lot of the people won't leave their homes. They can't bring pets to the shelter, so they don't want to leave. The winds are picking up dramatically here, and a lot of stones are flying off the flat roof here. And there's a problem with that because people are standing outside here getting hit by the stones, and also there's a fear that part of this flat roof might peel back a bit. But they feel fairly safe that this shelter will be okay. About 600 people here now. We're going to be talking with David Sampson, who's running this shelter. What can you tell us at this point? You've talked with the state police within the last few minutes.
The wind has picked up dramatically in the last half hour. They've just closed the bridges. We had decided this morning the bridges would be closed by the Corps of Engineers when the winds got to about 70 miles an hour. They stopped truck traffic about 2 hours ago, and now it appears they've stopped completely as we're looking at the bridge here.
This is now or before? This is now.
You see the early eye when it was off the Carolina coast? That was many, many hours ago. And then you see the eye... It almost dissipates because what happens is it doesn't totally dissipate, but what happens is instead of the clear area in the middle, clouds kind of start to form in the middle, and a satellite picture just shows that cloud as sort of a white or gray area, and you can't really pick it up. But you can see the basic track of this storm.
Which is just as what you thought, isn't it?
Pretty close. You know, yesterday, not everybody was sure whether it was going to be the west of Boston, but the east of Boston. But once the storm misses the Carolina coast, then we know that at least it's going to be a fairly substantial storm here because it doesn't dissipate over the Virginia and North Carolina landscape there. So it just skirted. You can see the beginning of there, the eye is just off the outer banks of the Carolinas and moves in a north-northeasterly track, making a beeline somewhere, you know, in Narragansett Bay and the Cape and the Islands.
We have another hour or so, Dick, before it gets to the Boston area. Is that what we're saying?
Well, when you say the term "it" is, I assume you mean the strongest winds and the heaviest winds. I would say in that vicinity, about half an hour to an hour.
And the people on the Cape are experiencing the worst right now.
And the people on the Cape should be experiencing the worst winds just about at this time.
I can't tell. I haven't been to the shelter yet, RD. I'm told that the Red Cross is looking for volunteers, however, to man that shelter. So if there's anybody out there who would like to volunteer some time for the Red Cross to man that shelter at Situate High School, make yourself available.
It's amazing we continue to see the people in back of you walking by, and when you talked about folks out there gawking, you really mean it. There appears that they aren't taking the warning that they've gotten today.
Yes, why don't you come on in here, sir? I'll ask this gentleman. Do you feel that people here are not taking this seriously enough?
Yeah, I think this storm's going to be a lot more serious than people think it is.
Why are you out here, nonetheless?
I don't know. It's an attraction, the wind and the waves and everything. It's a good time. Something to do. Not working this week.
How long will you be staying out?
I don't know, maybe another hour or so.
All right, another hour or so. This is definitely not recommended behavior, Edie. I think that anybody out here would be wise to go home and seek some safety. This is an area which could be easily cut off if there was any sort of storm surge, if there was a high tide. When the storm hits, it would not be a good idea to be here on Lighthouse Point.
Miles O'Brien at Lighthouse Point in Scituate. Clearly an unpleasant afternoon as Bob works its way toward the New England coastline.
Rahim Ellis is out in Yarmouth, and she's been covering the story for us. We're trying to get a shot for you earlier today, just about a half hour ago. But Bob's, I guess the effects of Bob have been knocking our satellite transmissions kind of out of whack, so it's difficult getting that as the wind picks up.
Rahima, however, is on the telephone. What can you tell us?
RD, I can tell you here at Bayview Beach in Yarmouth, we are being pounded by the wind and the rain. In just a matter of minutes, the place that I was standing and doing a live shot with you just a short while ago is underwater. The police have warned us and warned other people who were standing on the shore that they should get away from this area because they did expect that what is happening now was going to happen, and indeed they were correct. So several boats are still out in the water, and it's a miracle, actually, that more of them have not broken loose. One, in fact, did break loose earlier. And it was a miraculous thing to watch this boat as it was pushed through the water. It avoided all of the other boats and even avoided crashing into the seawall. It is very, very overcast and cloudy here right now. I cannot see that boat at this moment, but I'm not sure if you can hear on this telephone line the heavy wind that we have at this moment. It is, with me being only 128 pounds, it is very, very hard to stand in one position. You need a lot more weight than what I'm carrying right now, RD.
Down there. Now, here we have the latest radar across the northeast, and again, there is the center of the storm right in this position, and as it moves northeastward, roughly toward New Bedford and very close to or just south of Boston, if you should experience the conditions that Block Island did, in the sense that after a tremendous amount of wind and rain, there's relative calm and the sun may even pop out, it's not the end of the storm. It's just a very brief lull. That's the eye that has calm conditions, and as it goes by, you get more rain and wind that can be just as dangerous on the backside as what you had on the front side of the storm. So please be aware of that. Don't venture out. We've lost people in hurricanes and that type of a situation. We're not looking for that situation to rise at all. I think we can go to our computer system now to really hone in on the position of the storm. Basically, this is it as of 2 o'clock. Again, Block Island to Newport in that area. And the speed will put it about this position, 3 o'clock, or maybe Taunton to Brockton, and then about 4 o'clock, perhaps Boston Harbor. We may be just a tad rushing that position. There could be about a half hour to an hour lag over what we're showing you. But after 5 o'clock, the storm will be beyond Boston. But it won't be the end of it here. There'll still be a few hours of heavy rains and strong winds on the backside, as I've been pointing out. And again, the very strongest wind gusts are along and to the right of the path. There are still very strong wind gusts that could be to hurricane force just to the left of the path. And again, just about our entire area suffering a certain amount of power outages, down trees. And again, the heaviest rain and the most flooding is occurring along and to the west of the track. Except for the Cape, the rest of the state has flash flood warnings out, and that'll continue for several more hours indeed. So that's the latest information that we have on the storm. And again, as we get more in, we will share it with you, of course.